So I guess you touched on a little bit there, but who are the athletes going to be? Who are like, who's your dream star, that would participate in this league?
Well, what's fascinating is that our athletes come from major basketball and football NCAA programs. They're typically standout college players at the college level, and many of them played professionally overseas and in smaller professional leagues. And what's interesting about it is that slam ball attracts the hyperkinetic athlete. It attracts that athlete that's so over the top because in slam ball and in the air, athleticism rules, right? So you have a favorite college team and there's that guy on your college team that's like the second guy off the bench that you're like, why isn't he playing more? That guy is the best athlete in a 100-mile radius, and he just for some reason isn't an apex basketball player. He's a slam ball player. Same thing on the football gridiron, right? So
Right.
we attract the most raw, incredible, explosive athletes into our game, and their God-given athletic ability has undeniable entertainment and competitive applications.
What would be if, like, in the NBA, a free throw line dunk or a full court shot is like the ultimate highlight reel? What is the ultimate highlight in slam ball? Is it like a full court dunk? I mean, I don't even know what's like physically possible. You would know better.
No, actually, you said the right thing, Buster. We have no idea what's humanly possible in slam ball because it's this giant vertical creative canvas that these players are painting on every day and creating new things. We've got guys doing 900-degree turn dunks. We've got guys doing 1080 dunks. We've got 720 posters that have already happened in training camp, flip dunks, all kinds of insane stuff. There's a dunk called the McNasty, which is three dunks in one, which is a 360 through the legs on the lean. And these kind of things are happening live in the game against the live defense. It's not a thing where you're an influencer that's like filming 100
Yeah.
different attempts and only putting the one up that you make, right? This is live and immediate, and these guys are really making incredible things happen. And they're really, I think people are really going to be surprised how technically proficient these athletes are. They're all great shooters, great passers, great dribblers. They can do a lot of things out there on the floor. And I think you'll see a lot more balance of play than what you've seen in the past with slam ball.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, in like gymnastics, there's a benefit to being shorter. Would that also be true in slam ball, or is the average height going to be similar to those pro sports?
Our average height in camp is 6'5". We've got guys
Okay.
that are 5'7". We've got guys that are 5'7". We've got guys that are 6'9". That's a big spread, right? But you hit the nail on the head, Buster. The vision for slam ball has always been to take the gymnastic ability of a 5'5" gymnast and put him in a 6'6" small forward from Kansas, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. You know, it's like the whole Russell Crowe gladiator thing, right? Like, are you not entertained? You've got a power forward from the University of Oklahoma lining up against a linebacker from Nebraska. I mean, that's a really good base for a sport. I think it's going to create a lot of curiosity. I think we're going to get a ton of tune in. And when people find out that there's this really great strategic levels of slam ball, that's really the key. You know, UFC, a lot of people don't realize this, but when UFC was going through its growth phase, people used to boo when the fight went to the ground because they didn't understand anything other than punching and kicking. But once you got that information across that there was actual strategy going on the ground, UFC took off like a rocket and took over the entire culture. So we think that there's similar aspects to slam ball that people are going to be able to love.
That's interesting. And it's still going to be a team format though, like basketball or football, right? There's not going to be guys
Absolutely, yeah.
sticking around. So what is that team structure going to look like?
Yeah, the league is comprised of 8 teams. The game is played 4-by-4, hockey style substitutions on the fly. There's a dedicated defensive player called a stopper that's kind of like a goalie in hockey, whose job is to defend the rim, but he can elect to go empty net and come up the floor and put more pressure on the offensive side of the ball. Or the offensive side of the court. So the whole court, you can see over my shoulder, the whole court is surrounded by hockey glass. It contains all the action. It's physical. You can hit people, and we've found that basketball and football players are the apex athletes for this so far. We've had a lot of different background players show up, but the basketball and football guys really have taken the lead. And our training camp now is about half basketball players, half football players. And that's the eternal argument, right? Is who are the better athletes, basketball or football guys? And they're arguing in camp and trying to solve that argument right here in slam ball, playing on the same floor.